Hannah B, not Han Liu. I've been gone for ages. I haven't done a lesson for like 3 weeks. It's been really sad. So I hope you're doing okay. I've been away for a while because I am slowly getting back into the lab now. So I'm going back to work, I'm in the lab doing my experiments with my pipettes. So I'm really happy and I can't wait to get back to work like normal. I hope you guys are doing all right. It is boiling in Nottingham today and going back to Oxford next week. So yeah, hopefully we're gonna learn some stuff today about getting old and aging. Let me know if you can hear me and see me okay in the chat. For some reason my OBS said I've got an error. I don't know why. But let me know if you can see me okay in the chat and hear me. I'll wait for everybody to join. Say hi. Hope Mears 91 is coming. Hope 1 million sloths is coming. So I hope you guys can see me okay. Let me just pop onto my screen share. And I'll wait for you guys to join the party. So I'll just wait here a few minutes. See how many of you are logging on. So I can see in my little chat box. Cool. So while we're waiting for everybody to join, I would like you to feast your eyes on this picture. And my question to you is, you can see it on the screen, what am I looking at? And if you know what I'm looking at, or what you're looking at, do you notice anything odd about it? So I'm going to put my little laser pointer on. So first question would be, what am I looking at? And if you know the answer to that one, you might be able to answer the question, do you notice anything odd about this person? Oh, I've just got a Facebook notification from Aim High to tell me I'm live. Cool, so what am I looking at? What is this? You may have seen them in some biology textbooks, or you may have seen them on the Google. But let me know in the chat if you recognise what this is. And if you do you notice anything strange about it? And I'll give you a clue. It's to do with a person. It might not be, this is not me. This is not like my brain scan or anything. So what do you notice about this person? Anything odd? So I'll just give you guys a few minutes because I know I've started on the science pretty early. So I'm just going to wait till you guys have joined the chat. 1 second. Hello, Vendible Sugar! Vendible Sugar, I will give you half a point. They are different chromosomes. So we are looking at chromosomes here. And this is called a... Oh, my pen is going to do this again. It's going to go really slow. I'm just going to type instead. Right, this is called a karyotype, which is just a posh word for looking at all of the chromosomes in a person at the same time. So you should have learned from biology that humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes or 46 individual chromosomes. So if I was to take a cell and freeze it in time, so I could look at all of the chromosomes and pair them all up in their pairs, this is what I would see. So each number, 1 to 22, is each of your pairs of chromosomes. And you can see some of them are bigger than others. Chromosome 20, the pair are like really tiny little chromosomes. And what do you notice about this person? So if I've got 22 pairs of chromosomes, my 23rd pair of chromosomes will be this one here, my X and Y chromosome, which is my sex chromosome. Now, do you notice anything strange about this person's sex chromosomes? Let me just circle them so you can see. Whoa, my pen! My pen does not want to work today. I'm going to give up with the pen. I just use my laser pointer instead. So, what is different about this person's sex chromosomes? Venable Sugar's put the Y only has 1, which is normal. Some people are born with 1 Y chromosome and they are called boys or males. So the strange thing about this one is this person actually has 3 sex chromosomes. You're only meant to have 2. So if you see here, we've got 2 X chromosomes and 1 Y chromosome. So this person has 3 sex chromosomes, you should only have 2. So if we look at what is male and female, normally males have 1 X chromosome and 1 Y chromosome. So males are normally XY, whereas females will always have 2 X chromosomes. So females are XX. Now, you can be born with chromosomal mutations that mean you have a different number of chromosomes of your sex chromosomes. So you can be born XO, i.e. you don't have a second sex chromosome, you can just have 1 sex chromosome, or you can be born XXY, so you can have an extra X chromosome and a Y chromosome, or you can be born XYY. So there are people out there who have these genetic chromosomal mutations that mean they're born with not the right number of sex chromosomes, and these people are fine, they're alive, they just have maybe certain symptoms, the kind of like physiological symptoms that these conditions come with. So males are XY, females are XX. Second one I just want you to have a look at. So now we know that these are human chromosomes. What do you notice is different about this person's chromosomes? So if I use my laser point, if you just have a look, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these all look fine. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, they all look fine until we get down to, and I'm going to pause because I know there's a delay on the live feed, so I don't want to give you the answer straight away. So what is strange about this person's set of chromosomes? I'll give you a flash of the answer. Yep, so Venable Sugar has got, this person has 3 chromosomes of 21. So normally you should just have 2, so a pair, but this person has 3. And this is a person who has Down syndrome. So people with Down syndrome have an extra chromosome on chromosome pair 21. So that's that. So let's get straight into aging. I have a question for you. Who has more bones? A baby? Oh, it's missed off my spelling of baby. Who has more bones, a baby or me? I would like to know. So who wins on number of bones, me or the baby? Lilac says the baby has more bones than me. What do you guys think? I'll put 1 vote for the baby. Venable Sugar has put another vote for the baby. Baby's racking up the score here for most number of bones. So I'm going to have to use my mouse pad to write this, sorry. My pen's not working. So, Bebe has 300 bones. I, if it works, have 206 bones. So, let me move that up. So, I have 206 bones. The Bebe has 300 bones. But my question to you is, why does the Bebe have so many bones? What do babies need so many bones for? I mean, what are they doing with those extra 94 bones? So Lilac's put their bones are still developing. Yes, but why does that mean they have more bones? Does that mean as they age they lose bones? Babies lose 94 bones as they grow up. Where do they go? So I agree with you, the bones are still developing, but where do they go? What happens to these bones, these magical bones? Hey Doctor's put, maybe it counts as more bones because all of the bones aren't yet connected. Yes, so Hey Docs has got the closest answer. So it's basically because of how bones grow. So we're going to look at the biology of bones a little bit. Now, I really like bones, and we'll have a discussion in a minute about bones, but this is a long bone. So like your humerus, this one, or your femur, so your thigh bone, those are your long bones. And whenever we grow bones, we don't just add in bone at the end here or in the middle. We only add bone at this special bit here. So this is a line of cartilage that sits in between the end of your bone and like the long bit of your bone. And when we add new bone in only in this region here. We don't stick it on the end, or we don't stick it in the middle. We turn this cartilage into bone. So that's how the bones get longer and longer and longer. We add more bone just underneath this special line of cartilage here. And you'll see these bones look really different. So this bone has holes in and this bone doesn't. Why do you think that is? Why has my long bones, like my femur, the very top of your femur near your hip, will look like this? So why do you think I have holy looking bones at the tops of my long bones? This almost looks like a sponge. So why do you guys think that is? Why have I got spongy bone at the top of all my long bones? And that is what it's called. This is called spongy bone. Bendable Sugar has put it needs to move. Close. Lilac's put it's for your joints. Close. So the stuff at the top is called spongy bone, and the stuff that's in like the main long bit of your bone is called compact bone. And this is because, think of all the forces you do when you walk every day. So you're running, you're jumping. The whole point of having this spongy bone is so the forces can be appropriately directed down the bone so you don't shatter your bones all the time. So it's just for distribution of force properly. If you had just a really straight, stiff, compact bone, solid bone, if you were to jump, you would break your bones all the time. So this spongy bone at the top of all your long bones helps to distribute force of moving and jumping and walking so we don't break our bones all the time. And this is totally normal. Normal bone looks like this at the top of your long bones. So we've said that you add bone in this special line of cartilage, and when you look at it under an x-ray, it looks really cool. So this is an x-ray of a child, and we can tell this is their knee joint, by the way. So going up is towards your bum and down is towards the child's foot. And you can see here that at the end of their femur, they have this weird little line here, and this is called your growth plate. And you only have your growth plate while you're still growing your skeleton. So as soon as your skeleton has finished growing, you will not be able to see this growth plate anymore on an x-ray. And this is how we know your bones have stopped growing, because you don't have this special growth plate anymore. Does anybody know what bones 1 and 2 are called? If this is my femur and this is my knee, what are bones 1 and 2? Do you guys know? Bit of anatomy 101. So these are the bones of your lower leg, your shin bones. Anyone know what these two are called? Bendable Sugar, I'll give you half a point. One of them is a tibia, but which one is it? Is it 1 or 2? So I always remember, I don't want to give you guys the answer. I always remember, yeah, Bendable Sugar's got it right. Tibia, I always remember tibia is on top and fibula is going to have to be the one behind. So this is your tibia and your fibula, and this is your growth plate, which signifies you're still growing bones and you're still growing taller. Now, one other curious thing about babies and why they have so many bones is this. So does anybody know what this is called? Where I've put number 1, where this arrow is pointing to number 1. This is the diagram of a baby's skull. They look quite scary, actually. They're like little munchkins. So what is number 1 pointing to here? What is this contraption on top of the baby's head? And you might have heard a different name for it, but we're going to learn the science name for it. What is this? I won't tell you the answer yet, actually. Hey Docs has put Fontanelle. Hey Docs, I'm going to give you the point. Fontanelle, and you can spell it like this. I think one's just American and one's English. So this is the fontanelle of the baby, and this is his soft spot. So you can see here that this baby's skull is lots of different jigsaw pieces, and they're connected by cartilage. So the baby's skull hasn't fused into one nice smooth skull yet. It's all held together with cartilage. And why are babies born like this? Why are babies' skulls not born formed and perfect? Why do they need these jigsaw cartilage of their skull bones when they're born? So what's the whole point of babies having weird squishy skulls like this, do you guys reckon? So the fontanelle is the soft spot of the baby. Soft spot. But why do babies have a soft spot? Why are babies born with their skull bones all in different jigsaw pieces? Why, you guys? Hey Docs has put, both of you guys have put they need to expand their heads. I will give you half a point. The main reason is so... no, I've gone on the next slide. Okay, the main reason is so the baby can fit out of the birth canal, okay? Baby has to come out, right? That's one of the main reasons for this fontanelle on newborn babies. So humans have evolved to have babies with already very large, well-developed brains, but let's say women's anatomy hasn't evolved as much. So babies' heads have to be nice and squishy and malleable so they can physically fit out as they're being born. If their skulls weren't able to squish together, we might have a hard time birthing babies. So it's so babies can fit out as they're being born. And you can see here the comparison between the baby's skull. So see all his cartilage is still present. And this is an adult skull. And you can see that all my cranial bones have now fused together to make one nice bone, one nice cranial bone. We still call them different names, but they're all fused together and I don't have any more cartilage going on. Now, do you guys think bones are dead or alive? I think bones get quite a bad rep because people are like, bones are boring, bones do nothing, they're just lumps of calcium and bone. But do you think technically they are dead or alive, bones? I'll do a tally chart for dead and alive. Vendible Sugar has put alive, 1 for alive, good. What else do you guys think? Are bones dead or alive? Good, you guys have all put alive because you said they change, okay? So, bones are very much alive. They're not just this inert lump of dead calcium that just gives our human flesh support. Bones are really important and they do loads of stuff. So bones are not actually made up of just calcium, like people think. Bones are actually made of cells, like cells with a nucleus, like all of your cells in your human body. And all the bones in your body, they all start with the word, or all cells start with the word osteo. Osteo means bone. So these are all the cells in your bone. And in our bone, we have a special bone stem cell called an osteocyte. So he is like the stems. Oh, for goodness sake, my bloody whiteboard. Right. And this osteocyte, let's put, he's the stem cell that lives in the bone. So now we have, oh, I've done the wrong label, guys. Osteocyte is here. This is my osteocyte. So he is the normal bone cell. Normal bone cell. We will call this dude the stem cell of the bones. And then we have 2 different types of bone, of cell that live in the bone. We have an osteoblast and an osteoclast. And the way I remember it is blasts build bone and clasts carve bone. Because your skeleton is always being carved away and rebuilt all the time. It's not just you make bones and they stay there for the rest of your life. Your bone is always being reabsorbed back into your body, broken down and recycled, and then new bone built all the time. So these blasts, they are the ones that build your new bone, and the clasts are the ones that come away and eat away all the old dead bone that needs to be recycled. And what this looks like is, this is normal bone, and normally your bone cells just live there, they're nice and happy, but let's say this bone is a bit old and we need to replace it. So here the osteoclasts come in and they nom away all of the old cells and the old bone, and they make this little crater. And then the blasts come in and they build the bone, and they sit there and they secrete all of this like liquid. So we're going to put here, the blasts secrete a liquid, right? So they're kind of sitting in their own little puddle, these bone cells. They're sitting in the liquid, and then eventually that liquid solidifies, okay? So the bone cells, let's say they almost have a wee and sit in their own puddle of wee, and then the wee solidifies, and that wee is then your bone, okay? But obviously it's not wee, that was just a metaphor. So the osteoblasts, they come in, they secrete loads of liquid, sit in their own puddle of liquid, which becomes solid, and then that is your bone, okay? So your bone is made up of basically lots of different cells that are trapped in their own secretions, in their solid secretions, okay? And then eventually this whole cycle goes round and round. I gnaw away the bone, I build more bone. I gnaw away the bone and I build more bone. Hey Doctor's put, is the process of bone growing as a child the same or just minus the osteoclast? The short answer is that it's very different. So bone growth from child to adult is a completely different process. This here is just how your body maintains your bones once you're an adult. The long word for bone growth as a child is called ossification. You can go and Google it. O-S-S-I-F, ossification, if you want to go and Google it. So once this osteoblast has secreted all of its liquid and it solidifies, this is the calcium. They're like liquid calcium that then becomes solid that makes your bones, okay? Now, if we look at bones under a microscope, which I love, this is what your bone looks like under a microscope, which I think is really, really cool. So here, all these black dots are the little osteoblasts that have come in, secreted all their fluid. The fluid's got solid, then they've become trapped in the bone matrix. So all of this calcium deposits that's solidified. So here are all of the little bone cells in their circles, trapped in their own secretions. This big hole in the middle is a special hole in the bone with blood vessels in that feeds all of your bone. Because remember, these are cells, so they still have to have some like blood supply and nutrients. So these are all the little osteoblasts, and they've been trapped in their own secretions here. Those are the osteoblasts, and they form this really cool little circular structure. So this is what your bone looks like under a microscope, which is really cool. And my question to you is, how often does this process happen? So once you've become an adult and you're not making new bone anymore, how often is your whole skeleton replaced? Through this process of gnawing away all the old bone, remaking the new bone, waiting for a bit, gnawing away the old bone. So how often is your skeleton replaced? Hey Doctor's put 5 years, bit more. Please place your bets on a bit more than 5 years. I'm just going to unplug my graphics tab, it might speed me up. So how often is your bone replaced? Vendible Sugar has put 10 years. I'll give Vendibles that. So wherever you read, it might... Oh, you can't even see the 10 I've written. So some people say it's every 10 years. Some people say it's every 7 years. So every 7 to 10 years, your whole skeleton is replaced through this process of osteoclasts eating your bone, osteoblasts building new bone, okay? Which is really cool. So every 10 years, you guys get a brand new skeleton and you don't even know about it. So I love bones. I really love bones. Now, my question to you is, when do we start aging? So here's my timeline. And where do you guys think on this timeline that biologically I start to age? And I will circle some of your answers in red. Vendible Sugar's put, does it happen throughout the 10 years or all at once? It happens throughout the 10 years, yeah. I don't know what would happen if you suddenly replaced all your bones in one go. Someone's put, when you take drugs, Cos will put, but when you take drugs, it slows your growth. When you say drugs, that could be anything. So drugs could mean any medicine. So yes, some medicines might stunt your growth. But we haven't got time to get into that. So Haydox has put, Haydox thinks we start aging at 25. Okay? I'm not going to tell you the right answer yet. Any more advances or earlier, when do we technically start aging? Now, bearing in mind I'm 27, so I'm past it. Apparently I've started to age already. Causal's put, I'm 25. We're done for. So, any more advances on 25, or do you guys think 25? Do you guys think 25 is done? I'd like to think I start aging at 60. So, technically, I would say you start aging at 25 because that's when you finish growing, okay? Now, some of the very last things to stop growing are parts of your brain. So obviously we all know, like, we stop getting taller at like 18, 19, 20. I stopped getting taller at 13, I'm pretty sure. So one of the very last things to finish growing is this area of your brain. And this finishes growing at about the age of 25. So parts of your brain are still developing up until you're 25. And this is a really important part of your brain called the prefrontal cortex. And this controls things like impulses, which teenagers aren't very good at controlling, and your ability to plan and organise your behaviour in order to reach maybe long-term goals or outcomes. So this is really important in also like social interaction, moderating your social behaviours, okay? So this part of your brain stops developing at the age of 25, but obviously after the age of 25 your brain is continually like being remodeled and trimming away neurons, but technically 25 you're kind of done developing this part of your brain. So hopefully by the time we're 25 we're all really mature and can control our impulses and can effectively plan our behaviours. The second thing that carries on growing until you're 25 are your lungs. Your lungs keep growing until you're 25. But my question to you is, how much volume do my lungs possess? So what's the biggest amount of air your lungs can take in one go? So one inhalation. So how many, and I'm going to give you the clues in litres, how much air can an average adult lungs kind of take? So your max volume for your lungs. What do you guys think? Venable Sugar's put 2 litres. More. Hey Docs has put 2. More. I'll let you guys type some more answers. It's more than 2 litres. 5. 4. You guys are close. It's not as much as 10 Bendable Sugar, don't worry. So an average volume is 5 to 6. So your lungs, on average, can take 5 to 6 litres in one inhalation. So one breath in. My second question to you is, this diagram is very deceiving. What is different about the size of your lungs? Are they the same size? My clue to you is what might be on each side of your body that your lungs have to make room for. So what's on the left-hand side of your body that your lungs need to make room for? Haydox has put your rib cage. Any more advances on rib cage? Cosel thinks the right one is bigger. So, and Venable Sugar's put the heart. So remember that your left lung is narrower because it has to make room for the heart. So your left lung is slightly narrower because we've got to make room for the heart. But your right lung is slightly shorter. Oh no, don't do that. I just want to type. So your right lung is slightly shorter because it has to make room for your liver, because your liver is on your right hand side, right underneath your rib cage, and your liver's massive. So it's shorter because it's got to make room for the liver. Okay? So the answer is neither of your lungs are the same size. The left one is a bit narrower because you've got to make room for the heart, and your right lung is a little bit shorter because you've got to make room for the liver squishing up underneath it, okay? Now, another question about aging doesn't apply to you boys, I'm sorry, but when do you have the most amount of eggs on my timeline? And when I say eggs, I've put a little picture of the ovaries here because those are the eggs I'm talking about. So where on my timeline do you think a female has the most amount of eggs in her ovaries? Coddle's put yikes. Yikes! Ovaries. So when Vendible Sugar, oh, you guys have put some interesting answers. Remember, you're all offending me greatly. My eggs have run out. Right, you guys think 18, 20, 25 is when you have the most amount of eggs. I'm going to blow your minds in a minute, okay, because you're all wrong. I'm just going to wait in case anyone else has any more answers, okay? You're all wrong. Hey Doctor's put perhaps younger. 35. Oh, Lilac, that's an optimistic thing. So the answer is this one. Birth. Okay? You have the most amount of eggs the day you are born. And then it's just a downhill process from then. No, so when you are born, as a girl, not a boy, obviously, you are born with a finite number of eggs in each ovary. So when you are born with about 1 to 2 million eggs. I'll put mil. 1 to 2 million eggs in each ovary. And then by the time you've hit puberty, so let's say 14, 16, you have lost nearly all those eggs and you've only got about 300,000 left in each ovary. Okay? So when you are born, and when you're growing inside your mum's womb, you are born with the number of eggs that will last you for the rest of your life. Cozzle's put, I have 1 million eggs. Cozzle, I assume you're a newborn baby then. So when you are born, you're born with 1 to 2 million eggs per ovary. By the time you hit puberty, so when you start having periods, this has gone down to about 300,000, and that's what's going to last you for the rest of your life. So we said, obviously, starting periods is when you start releasing an egg, but what's the other end called when you stop having periods? So we'll put starting periods at puberty, and this is when you start releasing eggs oh, bloody slide all over the place. So starting puberty is when you release eggs, and what's the opposite? So Hey Doctor's put it stops around 50. Yes, you guys are correct. Yes, so Lilac's right. It's called the menopause. Clue is in the name. We'll just put a pause on it. Put a pause on the menstruating, okay? So when you start your periods, this is called menarche. When you stop, this is menopause. And all this is saying is, I'm starting to release eggs now. Menopause is now, I've run out of eggs, okay? So technically, your ovaries start aging as soon as you're born, which is quite morbid. On that scale, like I've probably got around, let's say 250,000, I hope. So menarche is when you start releasing eggs at puberty, and menopause is when you stop releasing eggs. And Hey Doctor's right, it normally happens around like 50, 55 is the average age, okay? The answer to the question in the title, why do we get shorter as we get older? I'd like to introduce you to your spinal column, okay? I always think spinal cords look a bit like a monster from Alien when they're taken out of the human body. So this is your spinal cord. Up here is your head, and obviously here at your coccyx is your bum, right? Each of these bones are called your vertebrae, and your spinal cord is made up of all these vertebrae stacked on top of each other. Now, in between each of these vertebrae, we have this special spongy disc over here, if you can see. And this spongy disc is made of collagen and other spongy materials, and it basically helps to cushion your bones in your spinal cord and helps with movement, because obviously we can move around our spines. But basically the answer is, as you get older, these discs just get flatter and flatter and squashed, okay? And then that's why some old ladies start to get a little bit short, and old men. So the answer to the question is, you get shorter as you get older because the discs in between your spinal cord get more and more squashed and a little bit flatter, and therefore your whole spinal column just shrinks a little bit and you lose a couple of inches. Simples, right? There's one other reason why you might get a little bit shorter as you get older, and that's this. So remember from earlier we said anything to do with the bone starts with osteo. This is a condition called osteoporosis. You might have heard of it because lots of little old ladies get it. But all this means is porosis, meaning like pores or porous. You know, if like sponges are very porous, things soak up lots of liquid. So this here is normal bone. I'm going to put normal bone there. And the one on the right hand side is someone who has because I'll put my auntie has it. It's really common in old ladies especially. Women are at more risk of getting osteoporosis. And this is someone who has osteoporosis. And all osteoporosis means is weak and fragile bones. So you can see here that these bones, like there's massive holes in them and there's loads of gaps, and they're obviously not going to be as strong as normal bones. Hey Doctors put, why are females at bigger risk? It's to do with hormones. So there are lots of reasons why you get osteoporosis. Some of them might be, we'll just put a couple on the board here. Some are genetic factors, hormones play a role, or nutrition also plays a role. So remember we said that after you hit the menopause, you stop having periods. Women who have undergone the menopause are more likely to have osteoporosis because they've not got as much estrogen floating around their body to help with bone growth. So estrogen plays a really important role in stimulating bone growth. Mr. Crow has put, is there a point where calcium intake doesn't help anymore? Yeah, I'm going to say when we've got to this bit, probably doesn't help. The important thing about making sure you have healthy bones as an old person is making sure during like our years now, so like when you're growing up and in your mid-20s and 30s, you do lots of exercise as well. So resistance and impact exercise helps to strengthen your bones for when you're an old lady or an old man. But I would have to look into like calcium intake levels, Mr. Crow, but that's a really good question. So this is osteoporosis. It's when your bone becomes filled with these little holes and gaps, and it means your bones are more likely to break. So that's why when little old ladies fall over in the bathtub, they break an arm like a twig really easily, and that's because their bones are very porous and full of holes. And these can be because of genetic reasons, hormonal reasons, or nutritional reasons. Another really common thing people always think is that when you get old, you need glasses. Why is that? So why is it that quite a lot of people will need glasses as they get older? I don't need glasses yet, which I am happy about. But by the time I've hit 40, 45, I probably will need glasses. But why is that? Is it because my eyes are just, I mean, obviously it's because my eyes are getting a bit more rubbish, but scientifically speaking, why do I need glasses as I get older? Because I had glasses from a very young age. I know lots of people that had glasses from a very young age. One of my friends has got a -6 prescription, so she's blind without glasses. So why do people need glasses when they get older? It's because of this. So this is your eye, okay? This is the nerve that carries all the impulses from your eye back to your brain. And what we're looking at here is the muscles inside your eye, okay? So inside your eyes are muscles, which is really amazing as well. So we are looking at these muscles here. I'm going to circle them. The muscles that hold up your lens. Now your lens inside your eye helps you to focus on things far away and close-up objects. So if you're looking at things far away or close up, these muscles will contract and pull your lens so it's thinner or thicker. So it's almost like having internal glasses but inside your eye. That's what your lens does. It helps to focus the light on an object so you can see faraway things or things that are close to you. And it's done by these muscles that hold it open inside your eye, which is really cool. And the answer is, as you get older, these muscles just get weaker and weaker. So when you get to about 45, 50, you find it hard to focus on things far away because these muscles have just got a bit weaker with age. That's all it is. So it's the muscles in your eye that hold open your lens that get weaker, which I think is a simple but cool explanation. One last question to you. Is it possible to age quicker than normal? Lilac's put, damn, my eye muscles are weak already. What's going to happen when I hit 50? Damn, we are going to need glasses. So, is it possible to age quicker than normal? Lilac, don't worry, we can just get like really funky, fashionable glasses and be really fashionable, cool old ladies. That's what I think anyway. So is it possible to age quicker than normal? Not that you would want to age quicker than normal, by the way, okay? This is not a normal process. So is it possible to age quicker than normal? So like a reverse Benjamin Button, wouldn't it? Mr. Crow's put there's probably some gene that affects it. Correct, I'll give you a point. Everyone's put yes, yes, yes. Guys, please expand, okay? So, oh wait, oh no! Guys, it's deleted my slide. Oh no! Oh, I was going to show you a picture. Okay, wait. Right, let's go on the Google. Let's go off. We're going to go off screen, guys. Okay. Don't tell Aim High we did this. We're going off screen. So this is a condition called progeria, okay? And let me just move my Google screen to the side of it so you can see. I did have a slide on this, but my whiteboard deleted it. So this is called progeria, and it's a really rare genetic condition. 1 in 4 million people, okay? Very, very, very rare. 1 in 4 million. And it's basically where these kids age way faster than what they should do. And this is because, let's go back to the whiteboard now that you've seen this little picture. So it's called progeria, and it's because of a mutation in a gene that means they have a very weak nucleus. So they have a weak nucleus, which means their cells can't divide properly, and they just have all the signs of getting old really quickly, and they break my heart because their faces are just so adorable. But there is a really cool documentary on, I think, 4OD on progeria, which is a really good watch. So the answer is yes, you can age quicker than normal, but only if you have this rare genetic condition called progeria. 1 in 4 million people get it, and it affects how strong your nucleus is, and how it also means your DNA is really unorganized as well, and it means your genes are really unstable, so you can't divide properly. I did have a slide about that, but sorry guys, I had to go off menu. Right. So, So Mr. Crow's put, do they eventually die of natural causes really early? Yeah, so I think these people have a life expectancy between like 13 and 20, and they just die from kind of normal aging causes, but much earlier at the age of like 13 to 20. Oh, and guys, I've lost all my slides. Oh, I'm just going to give up. I'm giving up. Right, so I think we're done now on progeria when it deleted my last 2 slides. Hopefully we've learned a little bit about aging today, and it's not been too depressing. However, we will all get old, but if we can all age gracefully like Meryl Streep and go and live on a Greek island somewhere. What I was going to say was, next week I've got another lesson on the 7th, but the week after that we're doing the big catch-up. So what I was going to say was, starting from, I think it's the 17th of August, we're going to do, Lilac's put the oldest survivor is 29 for progeria. That's really old. Obviously there are people that are exceptions to the rule. So in a couple of weeks' time we're going to be doing some biology catch-up, And this is aimed at if you are now finishing your GCSEs going into A-levels, this is a really good lesson for you because we're going to be doing A-level biology, mainly cell biology and genetics, because that's the first topic you do in A-level biology. So if you are starting A-level biology in September, it would be a really good idea to come to these lessons because we're going to smash out cell biology, DNA, genetics, epigenetics, so that when you start college, it's not all loads of information and you're overwhelmed with all the genetics terminology. So we're going to learn A-level genetics in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully I will see you there, and my whiteboard has behaved itself and saved my slides. So go outside, enjoy the rest of the sunshine, and I will speak to you guys really soon. Ciao, ciao for now. Bye.